Hello, everyone. Welcome back to It's Time to Toss the Dice. We are still discussing The Wheel of Time by Amazon. We are going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 7. As always, I'm Will,
I'm Lindsay.
and we'll get right into it.
Yeah. Cold open. We got a foretelling.
hmm
I I know that they were already sisters and all that kind of stuff, but I liked it.
I didn't have a problem
I,
with the foretelling. I despise the love interest between the two of them that is just completely manufactured and made up, and
it's not though.
it is.
They were pillow friends in the books.
They were pillow friends as novices, not as sisters.
Right? Is it really that much of a stretch to think that it might have continued on past?
Having read the books, yes.
I guess that's fair. But still, I like the foretelling. I like that we got Katara in there. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I
Um,
had no problem with the foretelling part of it. Like I said, that's straight from the books.
yep, pretty much. Um, so we always do this as usual. There will be spoilers for the books, potentially all the way through book 14. We don't really know yet because we don't talk about what we're going to talk about that much. But spoiler warning, and we are going to go chronologically this time, as far as the episode goes, rather than by scene, correct? Or
Yeah.
by
Well, I
like
mean, we
character
can't
arc.
go chronologically based on the books because none of this shit's in the books. So,
Well, some of it is.
very, very little.
The entire conversation between Rand and Lan is in the books.
That's about the only thing. A conversation is about the only thing.
All right. Um, goodness. So we're gonna start off with we've got Swan in Kyrian in the Sun Palace.
hmm
And she has a conversation with Moraine. She's a little bit upset that Moraine didn't tell her that she couldn't channel. After all, they are love interests and sending letters for 6 months, etc. Swan's understandably a little bit upset. I would
hmm
be if I was Swan. Out
I
in the
I
hall,
agree, Cam.
huh?
I told Cam I agree.
Oh gosh. So out in the hallway, we've got a scene that's actually pulled almost straight from the books. Lan is talking to Rand, and in the books, this happens in Faldara at the beginning of book 2. Here it's happening in Kyrian. I don't really care, but I do like that we get that little interaction between Lan and Rand. I do think they changed the name of the sword form. I think Lan said, did he say Heron crosses the courtyard instead of cat crosses the
I don't
courtyard?
think so. I don't think he did. I think he said cat crosses the courtyard.
Okay, hopefully he did, because changing sword forms is just why. He lets him wear a sword, obviously, which does happen in the books because that's truthfully, like he says, probably the last thing Swan is worried about. It begins.
Did he call it Heron crosses the
Did
courtyard?
he? Did he call it Heron?
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Yes, the actual sword form is cat crosses
his
the
cat
courtyard.
crosses the
I
courtyard.
didn't pay any attention to them
Oh
screwing up the small
no, he
detail.
says cat. I just saw it come up
Okay,
on the
good.
thing. He says cat.
I thought so.
All right, so Rand walks in to meet Swan for the first time. The Amerlin seat. Uh, I think they changed what they say to each other. But at least in this initial interaction between the two of them, it's not wholly unlike the books. Where she kind of gives him a little bit of a what for, like this is who you are, sort of kind of deal. She does more later. We'll talk about it when we get to it. And I see your face. I know. Okay. Um, Matt gets knocked out by Lanfear and wakes up in Falm.
Yes.
Do we have anything we want to say about Matt?
I
We know
don't.
that Lanfear can travel. It's not a stretch to think that she took Matt through a gateway to
No,
Falm.
but why?
Because that was the only way to get him there.
This is what happened when you fuck up a storyline so far that you just have to manufacture your own story. Like, you just stick to the story and they all get there anyway.
No, I
I,
know.
I, I don't, I'm so confused. It's like,
I got it. So it's interesting thinking about that because I'm rereading The Lord of the Rings, and I read it so long ago that I didn't realize how similar the books were to the movies that they did, and it just upsets me. Like rereading The Fellowship of the Ring, knowing how true to they tried to be to the books with the movie, I'm upset. I'm like, they could have done this for the Wheel of Time, but they didn't.
the thing that upsets me most about it is they spend so much time on these bullshit made up storylines that if they would have just stuck to the actual story itself, it would have spent just as much time.
Right. Like with Moraine and her family. Like, I mean, by the time somebody becomes an Aes Sedai, they have spent 20 to 40 years away from their family. People, they don't go back ever unless they get kicked out of the tower. It just makes me angry. Um, we get the girls,
Mhm.
Elaine and Nynaeve, um, walking through Falm, pretending that they know what they're doing because they don't at this point.
They don't.
But to be fair, they don't really know what they're doing in the books at this point either.
They don't.
Um, I do like the scenes with where they're out in the that field, dusty plains, dirt thing, whatever it is, with the Damane and the Suldam, where they have them test their power with that blast of air. And I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because the two scenes really go together. And Egwene just like they felt it in Falm, and the
Yeah.
poor cat. I
You,
felt for the cat.
yeah, you could definitely get a feel for the amount of power that Egwene can hold. We know
Yes.
Nynaeve is stronger,
And we know Nynaeve is stronger. And
which
we
should
know
give you
Rand is stronger than Nynaeve.
an inkling of how powerful Nynaeve is that Egwene's power far surpassed the other Damani
Yep.
that were there.
Easily. And then some. I do wonder, for because they've had Renna mention in the last episode that Egwene's the strongest Damane they've had in quite a long time. But I don't remember her name. It starts with an A at the end of the book. So I'm wondering if they decided to cut her.
Mm.
You know who I'm talking about though, right?
Not off the top of my head, no.
She was a Damane that got freed and joined the
Oh,
tower.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yep, but I don't remember her name. So, um I think it's adorable that the cute little brown, I don't know her name. She was Cho-Chang in Harry Potter. Is all like, "So Varen, what are you up to?" And Varen's like, "Ha, you are not going to find out." But Varen's getting a map of the city
Mm-hmm.
that the Ogier did. Obviously, for anybody who's been paying attention or has read the books, knows that that's so that she can find a Waygate, because that's the only reason you need an Ogier map of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Alana has a little blah, blah, with her warders, whatever. Um, Leandrin shows up at the Domadrid house.
She does.
She does. And she has a little chat. I think we should just lump all this together because there's not that much screen time for it. Um, has a little chat with Barthanes, telling him to kill Moraine. Like
Mm-hmm.
he could do that. I mean, what are the odds that he could kill Moraine?
Right now he could.
No, he couldn't. He's a pansy.
And she's just a bitch at this point. She can't channel. She's just an
Right, but
uptight bitch.
if you put the two of them up against each other with swords and daggers, who do you honestly think would win?
Neither. They're
Neither. Leandria would just come in and kick both their asses.
somebody would have to, because
Her face is so big. We know.
Yeah,
We know.
Landrin has a weird looking face.
She does.
I've
Those cheekbones or the jawline.
yes.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah. So she wants Barthanas to kill his aunt. That's not gonna go well.
So
And he
we
ends up.
find out that her made up nephew is a dark friend.
Yes, we find out that Barthanas is. I think he is actually her nephew in the books. He's in the books.
I don't remember from the
I
books.
don't remember. But we do find out he is a dark friend. He is a dark friend in the books as well. I looked it up in the episode just while I was watching it to make sure he is a dark friend in the books.
She
Um,
does look like American Dad.
That's
I
funny.
100% see it actually.
Yep. Yep. And he ends up in a cell by his own mother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess we'll figure out what happens to him because he was supposed to become the king.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he specifically tells his mother, "Don't tell the queen." She goes, "I already did."
Yep. So then we get a chat with Lan and Moraine, and he asks her the one pressing question that all people wonder about an Aes Sedai who's been cut off from the source. She's gonna go kill herself, and she's like, obviously not, because the dragon is more important than anything, which is fair.
And he said he read Tower
Yeah, and like only
manuscripts
two
or whatever, and
people.
only 2 people in history that had been cut off from the source had not tried to kill themselves, and asked her if she tried.
I'll I'll tell you what. I really want to know if one of those people is the person that we'll meet later on, hopefully, from here. Part of the kin. Statala, Anan.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because she got put out. I think she burnt herself out or something. I don't remember. It is interesting. And then Lan does his "you can't do this by yourself" thing. And he's not wrong. She needs help. She knows it. He knows it. Alana and Varen know it. Yes. Rand, hmm, Rand and Swan. She shields him.
I, Everything about that scene is wrong. There's not a single solitary thing about that scene.
Well, it's not wrong. I do think Tower Law does actually. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think there's something in Tower Law or whatever that says that he's supposed to be brought back to the tower and directed.
There's nothing about that scene that is true to the books.
Right. Well, she certainly doesn't shield him because she lets him go in the books. With best wishes, don't kill yourself.
She doesn't shield him. She doesn't, like, you can't form a circle with 14 fucking Aes Sedai to shield him.
I don't think that was their intention.
I believe she said something about that. That's why she had 14 Aes Sedai with her.
There was no protocol. Okay, that's fair.
Like I believe she said specifically that's why she brought 14 Aes Sedai with her.
Was to potentially gentle him.
Well,
If she
no,
felt
was
the
to
need.
like link to hold his shield. Like none of that
Right.
works.
So how can she hold it by herself?
Again, nothing about that scene was right. So then, instead of making a link that's impossible to form because you can't have a circle with more than 13.
13 females without adding a boy.
Yeah, and I promise you, he's not going to help shield himself. Don't work like that, kid.
Yeah. I do think. Yeah, you're right, Cam. He doesn't know that he's the Dragon Reborn when he meets Swan.
No, Moraine
Because she tells him.
Yeah.
She's the one who tells him, and he doesn't want to believe her. But she's like, no.
Yeah, in the book, Swan's the one that gives him the dragon banner.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She said, "This is your banner. It will fly across the world."
This is one of those changes where I'm just kind of like,
It's
they made
senseless.
the change, but I don't understand
It's
why they've
absolutely
made the
senseless.
change. It doesn't make any sense to me why they couldn't have Swan be the same Swan that's in the books.
This change did absolutely nothing to progress our story. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Because at first I'm like, oh, well, are they kind of turning this into the Dumais Wells incident kind of thing? But
That's
no.
actually, so I watched
But
this
then so
episode
so
with
if that
Cameron and
happens,
he
then how
said
the
the
fuck do
same
they get to
thing.
Falm? And then when it's all said and done, like this whole part
I
of the story just served absolutely no purpose to the
Right.
story.
I got some super super serious Elida vibes from Swan in this scene,
Yeah.
which is really weird
Yeah.
because I shouldn't be getting Elida vibes from Swan.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't particularly care for it.
And with as strong as Rand is, even if he doesn't know what he's doing, he would be able to shatter that shield without
Now, see,
breaking
this
a
is
sweat.
interesting. When I was watching the episode, I looked it up, and when big spoilers, by the way, for anybody who's watching and doesn't want spoilers. When Rand is in the box
Hmm.
and Luz Theron is talking to him in his head, he actually, I don't remember how many
There were
women they
like 7 or 8.
used to shield him, but Luz Theron said something along the lines of he can't break through the shield unless they tie it off.
Well, no, but so instead of doing that, he just started fucking basically gent or stilling every one of the Aes Sedai one by one.
Well, he actually did that all at once when he busted out.
No, he was like reached out and was just like grabbing and crushing the threads coming from the fucking Aes
Oh,
Sedai that were
yeah.
shielding him, like just one after another until the other ones let go and said, "No, no, no, we're cool. I
Yeah.
want no
Well,
problems."
that was when he broke out.
Right.
Um but that's really interesting. So I'm wondering if Swan is strong enough. Well, because before the Emmons Field
Unless
girls,
she has a
Swan
saw
and Moraine were
angril,
some of the strongest that the tower had seen.
unless she has a saw angril like
Oh,
stuffed in
what?
that dress somewhere, she is not
She might. We don't
holding
know.
that
She is the
holding that
honor
shield.
one. He only stilled the last three. Ah, okay. Still,
Okay.
the scene. I don't like what they've done to Swan. But I'm gonna leave it at that.
Don't like what they've done with hardly anybody in the from the books. Like the way
Yep.
they're represented on screen is atrocious.
So, next thing that happens, since we already talked about Egwene's blast and the
Yeah.
poor cat that she woke up, I feel bad for the cat. Um, Ruthlessly crush them in fists of spirit. Wow. Huh. So the girls, Elaine and Nynaeve, meet up with Loyal.
Hmm.
I I I still don't love Loyal's costuming, and the decisions, some of the ways that they chose to do his costuming design. But I tell you what, every time he's on screen, I just get happy. I love him.
The only issue I had with Loyal in this
Oh, sure.
episode was how he knows exactly who Elaine is just by looking at her.
Uh,
She didn't
had
introduce
he already
herself.
been to Camelin at this point in the books?
No, or in the books, yeah, you've in the books I would understand, but we never went to fucking Camelin in the
What did he?
series. We never
Well,
went
I
to
know,
Camelin in the
I know. I'm
like
just
we
saying,
met fucking
like if
Loyal in
Loyal,
Tarvalon, so God fucking knows where Loyal's been in the like
if
it.
Loyal's already been to Camelin, he might know who she is. I'm not
Yeah,
lying.
well, if Amazon
That did
hadn't
not bother me.
if Amazon hadn't fucked us up and we would have met Loyal in Camelin, then I could tell you for sure if we met him in, if he's been to Camelin or not. But since we met him in Tarvalon,
He is 90 also, so
still a child.
yeah. But I would think if anybody is going to know who Elaine is without knowing who Elaine is, it's going to be Loyal, in my opinion.
It doesn't make any sense. Makes
I don't
no
care.
sense.
Okay.
Like you can't just
Um
look. Like I can understand looking at Rand and being like, "Are you Aiel?" Like that's one thing because he is
yeah,
Aiel. He just
yeah.
doesn't know it. But to just look at a random redheaded girl be like, "Hey, aren't you the daughter heir of Camelin over here in fucking Falm?" No, like, what? No. What the fuck?
Oh gosh. Okay, so we need to talk about what Ishmael had Matt drink.
A tea.
Right, but I guess we'll just
Like, I don't know what the
the
fuck it
initial
was.
the initial scene was fine. Where he talks to him and tells him to drink the tea. It's very ishy. I like the way that they're portraying Ishmael, that he has trouble sleeping. He wants the wheel to stop. He wants to die. Shrooms.
I,
um, I'm not sure what he's trying to do with Matt here, unless they're trying to replace Ruidion.
I don't like how dark they're making Matt's character. Matt is not a
I don't
dark
either.
character, and like he doesn't have a dark past or a dark storyline in the books. Like
Not really.
he's by the end of the
I mean,
books, like
he
he
does have
is
some shit happen to him
he does, but they all do.
but he always comes out of it with like a super positive attitude.
Like by the
Like,
end of the
hey, I almost died, but I got this cool stick.
books, like Matt is my sole source of like comedic entertainment. Like I mean,
Yeah,
reading books 12 through 14, like there's not a single
I
page where
love
Matt's on it where I am not just grinning from ear to ear. He just
same
it's
same.
comedy gold, and
Yeah,
they just make him so dark. Like it doesn't make any like. Where the fuck did you? How did you
I
translate this from
do
the books? I don't understand.
I do wonder how much of that comedy gold, because I agree with you, but I wonder how much of that was Robert Jordan and how much of that was Sanderson.
But regardless, even before Robert Jordan passed away, Matt was still just comedic
Much
at that
happier.
point. Like, yeah, just
Yeah.
fun loving kickback. Like, he's not fighting the ghost of his mother, who's also him in his dreams, or whatever the fuck this bullshit was. Like, I don't even know.
Mommy issues, of course. I just I don't understand. We'll talk about it when we get back to them
Again,
again
this
and
is
Matt
this is
actually gets
just
the visions.
more shit that Amazon is just making up that never fucking happened, and it serves no fucking point. Like, how does this progress the story in any fucking sense?
It doesn't.
Like, this is
I mean,
fucking senseless and stupid.
the only thing I can see is that they either use this tea as a replacement for some of the stuff that's gonna was supposed to happen in Meridian, because we see him being hung, or
So then is Rain
uh
gonna drink the tea and end up with two tattoos?
or it's they're doing a really lousy job foreshadowing.
They do a lousy job at a lot of shit.
That wasn't exactly subtle when it comes to foreshadowing, at least not for book readers.
Their writers need to do more reading.
I agree. So next we get the scene, we meet Bane and Chiad,
We do.
which makes me happy. I Bane and Chiad make me happy. Um, we learn that Niall died. Avienda gets the crap beat out of her,
Hmm.
which happened to Gaul in the books. So they just replaced that with Avienda. Um, she has paid her toe at that point, and they
Hashtag
continue
justice
on.
for Gaul.
Yep, we continue on for, hey, now what? Yes, they are redheads. I don't know if they're natural reds though, but at least they're red, whether it's natural or dyed. um, and they head on towards Falm, which is
Yep.
cool. I love that we got Bane and Chiad in this.
I do too, but I'm still pissed. Like, I'm okay with Avi and Bane and Chiad being there.
Yeah,
But where
I
the
am
fuck
too.
is Gaul?
Shut up there. Okay, I'll shut up. Um, I don't know. I don't know if we're not gonna get a Gaul at all, or if he's gonna come in later. I don't know. Not a clue.
So
Okay.
now Gaul is just gonna mysteriously end up in fucking Terran. We're all supposed to pretend like we knew he was there the whole time because they fucked this up so far.
Okay, so after that, we get back to Matt's vision. So he sees himself being hung.
Mhm.
He sees himself drowning some. Remind me, does he drown somebody in Ruidion? I don't remember what happens in Ruidion. It's been too long since I've read it.
Did he kill? I can't remember off the top of my head, actually. I know he went through some shit in Rudion, but I
He did.
don't remember if there were Dark Friends there.
I don't either.
And this obviously
What
would have been
else?
before the Shado, so it couldn't have been Shado that were there.
Yeah, so he's dropping somebody's head into a bucket, and is that Min whose neck he snaps
Probably.
in the mirror? I think it's Min, but I can't tell who he's trying to drown. I have no idea. And then he sees visions of his mom, and he makes the like I'm going crazy face.
And then he is his mom, and then
And then he is his mom, and then he is himself, and then I don't understand the point.
because it
I
never happened. Nobody understands because it didn't happen. It's
maybe we'll
made
get
up,
payoff for it later.
manufactured. Bullshit. We haven't gotten payoff for any of the nonsense that they fucking added in. Like this isn't gonna be the one time that some of their random manufactured bullshit gets a payoff. Like none of it has paid off. You keep
I guess
making up
we'll.
shit. Like it's just one of those things. They're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. And so far, nothing has.
Well, not for us. I don't know about people who haven't read the books or
And for
other
people who
book
haven't,
readers.
for people who haven't read the, they should have just called it something else.
Mm, there's still a lot that's based off the books, but
There's like two things so far that are based off the books. Rand is Dragon Reborn, and Swan
and
is
the
Amerlin,
channeling.
and Swan is Amerlin Seat. Those are the two things you've gotten right. Congratulations, you're 2 for 1,000.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Moraine tries to convince Swan to let Rand go. Obviously, Swan says no. Blah blah. Uh, Moraine has a chat with Rand. Finds out that he was trying to go to Falm, and she. This is another issue that I had. Moraine knows the prophecy. Moraine tells Rand, "Yes, yes, you need to go to Falm. There's a prophecy, right?" And why the heck doesn't Swan? Because Swan literally said, "No, we're gonna take Rand and these 14 sisters, and he's gonna proclaim himself the dragon here in Kyrian." But that doesn't make any sense because Swan should know that he has to do it in Falm.
If anybody knows the prophecies of the dragon or the Carathian cycle, those two people would be
Oh, Sam,
Moraine
Cam.
and Swan.
I know.
Like
Anybody should know it.
they have dedicated their entire time and as full Aes Sedai essentially to finding the Dragon Reborn. Like
Here's
they know
the
every bit of the
interesting.
fucking prophecies. They know the intricacies of everything. Like these are the only two people that
I
know
know.
for fact that the dragon has been reborn that are
Here's the
still alive.
interesting thing though. Earlier in this episode, Swan made a comment about how she's let Moraine do this on her own for too long. So I wonder if they've pulled because in the book, Swan became Amerlin, like fought to become Amerlin because they knew about the Dragon Reborn and they had to have somebody with that much power. But in this, it's almost like Swan's just left Moraine to go and whatever
It's like Swan became
and
Amerlin and said, "Well,
doesn't
fuck what our other mission was," and Moraine just continued
right.
on doing it, and Swan went on her fucking merry. Like none of it makes sense. Like they've steered so far from the truth of the books that I can't even make sense of
Yeah.
most of this shit anymore. I honestly can't. None of it
I
makes sense to me.
I do stress might. I might have been okay with it if Swan had actually said something like, "I know what's supposed to happen, but there's 14 sisters here who are going to find out, and if they find out, we're screwed."
But that doesn't make sense because the reason she brought 14 sisters was
I
specifically to
know.
take him.
I know. Which is why I
None of
don't
it makes
like
sense.
the only thing I'm seeing is Swan like like Show Swan trying to keep herself from getting stilled and exiled like Book Swan, but
That
that
she,
still doesn't make sense because she doesn't say anything that implies that that's her goal.
if that were the case, she would have never went to Carrion. I mean, if she wants to protect the Dragon Reborn, but also keep herself from being deposed, then she would have just not gone to Carrion.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Showing
just skip
up with
through.
14 sisters with a specific reason to fucking shield him and drag his ass back to the fucking tower makes no
Oh, I can't
sense.
either, Cam. I can't either. So we get more of the Barthanas Leander thing, but I don't really want to talk about that too much because it's not. I don't care about that storyline at all. There's not really anything going on with it. We get back to Ishi and Matt, and Ashemael's like lovingly, tenderly holding him. Talking to him about being reborn and how everything happens over and over and over again and how he wants to just die. And I just don't. We're learning a lot about Ashemael, but I I just don't. I don't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, he said basically talks about being immortal.
Right.
Oh, it's the Forsaken weren't immortal.
But he's not even talking about the immortality that he gets from the Dark One. He's talking about the immortality that exists because time is a wheel and it repeats itself. And he doesn't want to keep repeating,
But
which
there's
kind of makes me wonder like how does he, cuz most people don't know. The
no,
vast majority of people
and
don't actually know their
yes, the
former,
wheel of time turns and like different ages come and different people come and
and you
are
get reborn.
reborn and all this stuff. But that doesn't mean you're the exact same person every time.
You're not. And
Like you
very,
still
very
have
few people even know.
you still have free will. You still form your own
Right.
choices every time you're reborn. So I mean, it's not like every turning of the wheel is identical to the previous turning of the wheel. Like that's not how it fucking works.
Yeah, I know he does. Cam. I just
Yep.
the way they're doing it in the show is a little eh. So Rand goes to Teleron Riyadh and convinces Lanfear to help him, and she tries to burn the fort gate to the ground,
Does a pretty
which is
goddamn
kind of
good job
cool.
of it too.
Yep. I do like, so I am completely convinced that they've merged her with Grendel, and I like how she's got the Grendel look in the World of Dreams. And then when we come back to Kyrie and she's wearing the white and the silver.
Hmm.
I thought that was a nice touch. And she's just like flipping her wrist and looking over there and stuff's blowing up. I liked her comment too, like 3,000 years and we're back to this again.
Hmm.
Which I thought was nice. Alana's warders miss the farm. Poor babies. Um, Leanne lets Logain go
Yeah.
for information on Moraine, and he says that he can see a shield on her of some sort.
Again, so many fucking things wrong with that.
Quit merging characters. Um,
Logain has been gentle. Logain has zero access. He can channel just as well as I can.
right now,
He
from
can
what I
see channeling
from
just as well as you can, just as well as I can, because they're fucking gentle. Like, you can't
no, I
see
think
anybody weaving.
people who have been stilled and gentled can actually still feel and
No,
sense.
no.
I don't know. That's what
You are
Cam told
not.
me when we watched
I,
it.
you're not going to be able to see weaves on fucking somebody.
I didn't think so either, but whatever. Lan says you can see male waves, but he's not. I don't think he should be able to, but that's not. That's just me. So they just. I love how he's like, "What do you see on Moraine?" And Logain's like a desperate, lonely woman. They can't touch it, but they can see it. That's what Cam is saying. Well, because think about it. If again, spoilers. if if there's nothing left there, then there's nothing for Nynaeve to heal.
It,
There's
it's
something still there.
it's there, but the connection between essentially
Has been
between
cut.
the 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 source and the person has been severed. So there is something to heal. Like it's not like the light is completely gone,
He probably would have inverted the weaves, but apparently he didn't.
or he would have just used the fucking true power.
Yeah, or that. Um,
If anybody likes to use the fucking true power, it was Ishamael.
I just like that Loghain's been set free. That makes me happy. Oh, more Leonard or Lanfear blowing stuff up. I do like the maiden hand talk comment about the water when they reach Falm and they're standing on the beach.
Yeah, they see the ocean.
Beach. It's like a cliff, but still. And the girls are all like, "Holy cow! This
I,
arch was." What do you mean? I don't know what he means.
with Logain and Lan, I believe.
Oh, yeah, possibly. Okay, so the
I
girls.
will say I do appreciate that they incorporated hand talk into the show.
Yeah,
I can
same.
I
I
can
like it a lot.
appreciate that.
I appreciate that, and
The
that they're actually using
one
it.
thing you got right in the episode.
Yay! Yeah, I know. We got hand talk. The girls, Nynaeve and Elaine. That's who I mean when I say the girls. Call her a Suldam.
Mm-hmm.
Do they do that in the books?
Nope. Elaine does, or Egwene does.
Right.
Egwene calls Rena.
Oh, that's right. Yep. But still, I don't hate that the girls figured something out. Like they've got brains finally.
But I don't mind that it gets figured out because it gets figured out in the books. Like I said,
Yeah.
Egwene collars Rena when she gets set free. I don't like how they just randomly like, let's just try to put on a fucking soul day. Like, when Egwene does it, she does it because like she can almost sense something through the Adam. She goes, it has to be the only way
Right.
that it could
Because
work
she
is
she knows
because
that there's something to Rena.
so it makes sense when she colors a Soldam and it works. It doesn't make sense for Elaine or Nynaeve to just try it. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, technically you can put the item around anybody's neck. They don't have to be a channeler. It just doesn't work if they aren't.
right, so if you put it around a Soldam's neck and it doesn't work, they're just gonna beat the shit out of you and you're still gonna get found out by the Shanshin. So what point would it serve? You know what I mean? Like they did it because they knew it was gonna work, but it doesn't make sense that they would know that it would work.
Right.
That's the issue I have with. I don't have an issue with a
I
Soldam being collared because, like I said, Rena gets collared in the books. Like Egwene is the one that's like, and even when she did it, she wasn't 100% sure, but she was fairly certain that that was how the
Right.
Adam worked.
Right. Yep.
But for these two to
So
just randomly just pick a Soldam and be like, hey, this is gonna be how we get in. Like that's not how. That's not. No,
not really.
not
No.
quite.
But they do need to steal her dress. So I suppose that could be a reasonable excuse.
I gotta beat her in the head to do that.
That's true. They do like bashing heads against walls in this show, I've noticed. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Matt, Elaine, Nynaeve.
Yeah, just another Soldam
Starting
with a
to.
fucking
That was
split
the
skull.
last episode, Cam. That was last week. You missed it.
Yeah, that was last episode. We did discuss that.
Yep. Um.
We
So
we, we talked
Rena.
about how the Mane must have felt feeling that happened to her Soldam.
Oof. Rena gives Egwene a bath in a very sort of touching, "I'm not your enemy" sort of a scene, which was nice, even though she is her enemy. um. Varen. Hold on. Hold on. I want to watch this scene real quick because Varen runs up to Liana. The
But
amulet
well,
requires
you
your
can't
strength
just
to protect Kyrian.
you
I've been
can't
told it
just
rots a
skip
boy.
over. You cannot just skip over the one cool part about the Rena and Egwene scene.
Oh, is what is it?
Egwene looks her dead in the eyes and says, "I will kill you."
She does?
Yes. That's when Rena storms out of the room. She looked her dead in the eye and
I
says,
must have
"I will,
missed that.
I will kill you." Like as she's washing her hands and everything, after she gives her other hand, and Rena's sitting there talking about all the great things
Oh,
they're
she
going to
does.
accomplish
I
together,
completely missed
Egwene
it.
stares her dead in the eyes and says, "I will kill you." That's the only decent thing about that scene. And then I even have
I
issue with
missed
that
it.
because if a Damani ever said that to a soul, damn, the
Oh,
punishment that would have fucking ensued is
yeah.
incomprehensible.
You want to watch people get exploded by Oshaman? I do too, Cam. So I do love the that Elaine was, or not Elaine, Egwene was putting her hair back into the sort of fishtail Emmons Field braid
Mhm.
as one of those, like, remembering that what
Defiance.
yeah, in defiance basically, which I thought was really really cool.
Dude, I know. Cam,
Um
I'm like Dumai's Wells with the Ashamon like in their meat blender. Like that's going to be amazing.
Cam, they're
Yeah, they probably will. We're not even gonna get to Dumai's Wells. Like the whole meat blender
gonna cut
scene
it. If
that's
they
gonna be
cut
gone.
Dumai's Wells, it's such a pivotal moment though. You can't cut Dumai's Wells. You
Like
can't.
the meat blender, man. The meat
I
blender.
know. But even that,
We're
like,
not gonna.
not
We're not
even
gonna.
it's
I call it now. We're not getting it.
it's important though because it's the first time that the I believe it's the first time that the wise ones participate in battle. It's the Ashaman proving ground. It's Rand's like fuck this because he just busted free. They can't cut it. It's so important. I don't care about Bactanis being locked up. Do
We've
you?
had so many important things that have been changed, omitted, or otherwise fucked up that you can't say that they can't do it. They absolutely can. They've already proven that. Camelin was a pivotal scene. We
I
got
know.
fucked out of
With
that.
Rand meeting Elaine.
We
He
got
still
fucked
hasn't
out of
met
that.
her.
No, he hasn't met Elaine. He hasn't met Morghese. He hasn't met Galwyn. He hasn't met Elida.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, we get Varen coming in, and I want to check and see if she says anything that's questionable. She takes the shield for Rand from Liana.
Leanne. Leanna. Yeah.
Liana.
Oh my fucking
The
god.
Amerlin requires your strength to protect Kyrian, so that's not a lie. I've been told to watch the boy. Probably also not a lie. This is an order, Leanne Sedai. An order from who? She doesn't actually say. She's being very careful. The truth in Aes Sedai says is not the truth you think you hear.
Yeah.
Ooh, Varen is so good. I love her. Anyway, passes
Well,
the shield to Varen.
again, with it being Varen,
Right. Spoilers. Varen can lie.
with it being Varen, every word that came out of her mouth could have been an absolute fucking lie, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, but considering that Moraine was also standing there, I don't think Varen wants to give herself away. So, and Moraine does say you are very clever with your words, sister.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah. So, what do you think about this whole Rand banging Elaine, Matt getting Min, and Perrin getting Avienda?
I haven't gotten anything else right, so it wouldn't shock me.
But here's the question: are they going to cut Fail? Cam.
Why wouldn't they? They already had it in one wife for him. Why would they give him another?
All right. So Varen lets Rand go. They scamper off to presumably freedom, hopefully. To the Ogier, where the steading used to be, and the Waygate.
Hmm.
Not the steading, the Grove.
Hmm.
With the map. Okay, can we talk for a moment about Swan apparently knowing how to create rain like Windfinders?
Yeah, how to use basically the Bowl of Winds without the Bowl of Winds.
I'm a little bit upset at her ability to do this. It's a little much. I, Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna give Viola's gonna be the Arya Stark.
You know,
Probably.
that wouldn't even be the dumbest thing that's happened in this whole fucking ordeal.
Probably. She's probably gonna stab Ishii. That'd be hilarious though. Um yeah, I'm interested to see if we even get the sea folk, but if we do get the sea folk, what their cloud dancing looks like compared to this. Uh okay. So Rand has the shield, sort of. With a very wobbly little pokey thing.
Can we
Um
can we can, can we discuss for a minute?
yeah,
How long has Moraine been in Isola? How long has Moraine been channeling?
20 plus years.
And she doesn't know the fucking difference between being shielded and being stilled. Can we discuss that?
Yeah. She should have known and she should have been able to break the shield.
No, no,
Yes.
it's not she should have known. It's she 100% would have known. Hey, this cocksucker shielded me.
Yeah. And she should
Like
have been able to break
the
it. Cuz even that even if she couldn't break it, like say if she was just strong enough she couldn't break it, right? It doesn't change the fact that after a certain amount of time, even tied off, that weave is going to dissipate. It is not going to survive that long. Period.
no, he would like basically have to
He'd have to come back and re-up it
like
basically every
yeah.
like month or so, right? So again, this is the kind of stuff that they change that really bugs me when they change fundamentally the way that the world works and the way that the magic specifically works. Because the magic system is what makes this world in a lot of ways, and you can't just change it. I mean, you can, obviously, they did, but that's what irritates me is that they've changed something so critical to the way that this world works without I mean, I assume maybe somebody's thought about the ramifications of changing like the fundamentals of a magic system that's
Yeah, right. Like, we've already kind of discussed Rand and being stuck in a box, and like he knew he was shielded. He could feel the shield. Like
right the whole time.
he was like pressing up against it and feeling along it and trying to find a crack or anything that was weak in it so that he could try and essentially
Right.
just force his way through it. Like it's the same. As far as that goes, it'd be the same.
It's the
A,
same for
a
women.
female being
Yeah,
shielded
they
or a
can
male
sit there
being
and they can
shielded.
poke at it and prod it and try to bust out of it. And I just don't
Or in season one when fucking Logain was shielded.
he did that.
Yes, so you can't tell me that between
That they haven't
season
already
one,
introduced this
yet
concept.
between season one and now, shielding is an entirely different fucking concept.
Right. And that's what happens when you change the rules for your magic system is that all of a sudden there are no rules.
Like
Now,
we'd already encountered somebody who was shielded in season one when they had
I
Logain shielded by
I
multiple sisters.
I would have appreciated
So then we
a
go back to that, and even Logain was his shield was held by multiple sisters, and it
yeah,
was still hard for multiple sisters to shield Logain, who is not
yeah.
nearly as strong as Rand is. But you're
Yeah,
going
but
to
Rand
have
doesn't have a clue what he's doing.
it doesn't. Do you have
Well,
to
it
be
doesn't
smart to
matter,
throw?
but
Like you don't have to be a boxer to throw a fist at somebody's face.
true. Um
Like brute force is brute force.
yeah, right? Um the thing that just I don't understand how see and I might have been okay like it might have been okay, maybe, if she had been shielded with the true power and the true power had different rules than Sidene and Sidar, and she
And,
had to go back to Lanfear or Ishi to get it removed. But that's not what they did.
and even then, like, the rules would be the same. The weaves would be different, but the rules would be the same.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I in
Nothing about
that
this would have made
particular
sense.
case, I would have been more okay giving the true power an exception
I'm
than
not
them
because
breaking the rules for Sidene and Sidar.
I'm not because it's still you can channel. There's just something between you and the source,
I know.
regardless of whether it's Satan, Sadar, or the true power.
I know. I'm just saying it would have been
No,
slightly better.
it's all wrong.
Okay. So, moving on. Let's talk about this command that Swan gives Moraine to close the Waygate. I, I still it still upsets me a lot that the oath rod was even used in this way in the first place because this is a violation of Moraine's
Yeah,
everything. Swan could make her a slave and there's nothing that she could do about it. No Aes Sedai would ever make another human being, let alone another Aes Sedai, promise to obey somebody else with an
an
oath rod.
Amerlin seat would never use the
No,
oath rod in such a manner. An Amerlin
ever,
seat would be deposed from the seat for
for doing
suggesting
something
it.
like that, for being so presumptuous to assume that she had the power to do something like that. Of course, Elida does it later, but that's besides the point.
It's a
um,
different tower.
yeah, but I just it upsets me that they've given Swan this power over Moraine when they're supposed to be partners. And then Moraine leaves her laying on the ground after Lanfear shows up.
Now to the it's the same scene, but this scene between Moraine not knowing the difference between being fucking shielded and being stilled, and what happens now, like infuriated me to no fucking end. Like,
Yes.
in what
Same.
goddamn universe would Moraine, under any fucking circumstance, ever
Walk into a Waygate with
work with
Lanfear?
Lanfear?
Never. Never. In a bazillion years.
Like what Moraine did the first time she saw Lanfear when she slit her throat,
Was
and
appropriate.
like that is what Moraine would do to Lanfear if she couldn't channel. Now that Moraine can channel again, what she would do to fucking Lanfear in this circumstance
Or
is
what she
like
would try to do.
there would have been just an all-out fucking brawl with the one power right here on the
Yep.
spot.
Yep.
Zero questions would have been asked. Not a word would have been spoken between the two of them. It would have just been fucking weaves flying, winner take all. Only one of us is walking away from this.
I know, right? And it's just and then poor Swan's left on the ground.
And
I just
I I don't remember. Did Lane go through the Waygate as well? I
uh
honest to God can't remember if Lane walked into the Waygate as well.
hold on. I will tell you. Can I make this go faster?
It wouldn't have been much of a brawl. Like Lanfear wins that fight 100 times out of 100. But
Yes, he does.
okay.
So it's Lan, Rand, Lanfear, and Moraine
And Varen.
in the ways.
Did Varen not go?
Uh
I thought Varen led. I thought she was the first one that walked in. I could be wrong.
no, Lanfear, still Lanfear.
I thought I saw Varen. Again, I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
I thought I
Varen's not
saw.
there.
Okay.
I do appreciate the difference in the way that Lanfear and the Aes Sedai use Sidar. Because Lanfear, it's so effortless for her. Yeah, Lanfear who can travel takes the ways, but I know, right? Just make it. But see, she knows if she makes a gateway, then Swan and Moraine will see it.
Just use the true power. Again,
Or just, yeah, use
there's
the true
way
power to make a gateway.
there's ways
Then they
around
can't
this
see
shit.
it.
Yeah, there's ways around this shit.
Not only that, but they've
Robert
implied that
Jordan
women
gave
can't
you
see each other channel either.
Robert
So,
Jordan gave you all the tools you needed to accomplish this fucking mission,
and
and you still can't get it right.
yeah. Okay. So if they get Toman Head right, I'll be happy.
I do not.
She can, yeah, you're right, Cam. She can invert. She could invert the weaves for the gateway so they wouldn't even be able to see them.
Yeah. Or use the true power. You've already showed that she has the
We already
dots.
established that she has the
Yeah,
ability to use it.
she has the dots of Saw, so she apparently has no problem using the fucking true power. So just let her use the true power. And then we don't even have to explain what inverted weaves are. If they get, I'm not anticipating them getting Tillman Head right. They haven't gotten shit right yet. I'm not anticipating this to be right.
I mean, they have actually said bannered across the sky and fire. So presumably we're gonna get in the sky.
I don't trust anything that they say.
Hopefully, I'm hoping. I'm
I'm
hoping here. Well,
I'm not hopeful for anything. Like
oh gosh,
every new episode, like my will to live decreases.
just goes down a little
Every
bit.
every
I
fucking
know.
episode.
I know. Hopefully, I'm a little bit confused as to how we're gonna fit all the books into 8 seasons now, since they've done a book per season for the first 2 seasons. I know there's a lot of like books 7 through 10ish that you can kind of
9 and 10 you can do in one episode. Like fucking those two
yeah,
books
exactly.
just
So they could
drug
do
on.
probably 7 end of 6 through 10ish in one season. So yes, you're right. So Cam explained the the scene in episode 6 that we talked about last time with Logain saying things like embrace the source. He was actually he wasn't telling Rand to embrace. He was kind of saying you're embracing it. Don't. You need to grasp it. It was just the way that they wrote the script was a little bit
Yeah, no,
misleading.
the way they wrote the script was embrace it. Like, bitch, I will punch you right in the mouth. That is not how this works. That's not how
Yeah.
any of this works.
But we went back and we watched it again, and I think Cam is right that Logain was saying kind of like a no. You're embracing it. You need to do this instead, which is exactly what Asmodean does. Because Rand says to Asmodean like, "Oh, but the girls all talk about embracing and
Yeah,
I can't think of the other word, surrendering." And Asmodean's like, that's not gonna work for you."
yeah, you have to grasp it and wrestle it.
Right. So Logain was saying the same thing. The script was written poorly.
No, imagine that.
Oh gosh. Do we have anything else we want to say? Why was this episode
Oh,
called Days Damar?
I have so much I want to say.
What can I ask why was this episode called Days Damar?
Yeah, the episode being called Dice the Mar like led me to believe that it was basically going to be featured around House Damodred, essentially,
I've
because
actually felt like all of their episode names have been off by one episode this whole time. Well, cuz think about it. Like the episode where Egwene was actually became a demone and was tortured was called Eyes Without Pity. And the
yeah,
episode before that was called Demone, which it should have been episode 6 should have been called Demone. And episode 5 should have been called Daughter of the Night, not episode 4. Because episode 4 is where we learned that she was Lanfear.
Yeah, the title Dies Damar like
I,
led me to believe it
unless
was
they're
gonna be
talking
a
about
lot
the
about. Well, because I mean, I guess it was the bulk of the episode did take place in
in Kyrian.
Karian, and that's where they play Dice Damar the most. Like that's where it's most
Right, but that doesn't make
prevalent,
sense
but
because
it
Swan
didn't
was
actually
not.
have anything to do with the Game of Houses, and had
Swan was
everything to
being
do
way too
with.
blunt to be playing the game of
No, it
houses.
had everything to do with the Aes Sedai and Chosen, and nothing to do with
Right. The only
the
thing I
Game of
could have thought of
Houses.
was that there was going to be more Barthanes,
I'm gonna say, and
more
the only other
of
little
Moiraine's
bit
sister.
was,
I
yeah.
don't understand why they named it this way. I really want to know what's up with Matt and if they're cutting Ruidion or if that was foreshadowing for Ruidion.
Well, they can't just
I
cut
really hope it
Ruidion
was for.
because
I
Rand
really hope it
has
was
to go through
foreshadowing.
Ruidion. Like even if they cut Matt out of it, like we still have to get Ruidion. Like Matt's
I know
Ruidion
it's
wasn't a
critical.
Ruidion wasn't about Matt. It was about Rand. It just happened to include Matt
Yeah.
because Matt said, "Hey, buddy, I got you. Let's go." Like
And then
Matt wasn't even supposed to go. He just
yeah,
doing funny Matt shit, not dark, homicidal, crazy, fucking psychopath Matt shit or whatever is
I
going
hope
on
that
here.
all of those things were foreshadowing. Hopefully, is what I'm hoping.
Like,
All right.
did he come out of that with an Ashendari
No.
and a scarf around his neck? Then he still
But
has
we
to go
did
through
see him
Rudion.
hanging from a tree. So hopefully we'll get that and he'll come out of that with an Ashendare. Hopefully.
Again, I hold no hope.
I guess we'll find out.
I hold no hope.
What are we gonna call it?
Yeah, that's all I got for this one.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Cam.
Yes, Cam, good to see you again, bud. Have either
Good
of
night.
you thought? Hold on. Have either of you thought yet?
Oh, have we thought what? Type faster. Yes, of course. We don't need to talk about that right now, though. That's getting into spoilers that we don't need to get into.
Until it's time to get into them.
Right, until it's time to get into them.
All right, guys. That's all I got for this week. I will see you guys
See ya.
next week.